when you try to unpack that visibility, so sometimes it looks like, good morning, did you have your cup of coffee this morning? Oh, you look lovely today. Did you get a new haircut? Such small conversations, small talk, which can sometimes be very uncomfortable, but I think baby steps. You learn. Today you go say hi. If somebody had mentioned they had a flu the other night, just ask them, so how are you feeling better today? That is how I have learned. I have learned that it is done.
Cause I've been stone cold since you left me here. So come home. Why won't you reappear? Things that I said came out totally wrong. Can't speak of the truth when it's tainted. I fell into a big black hole. It got me stone cold.
Welcome to Amvukisha, another episode. Kariuki Kenyonye as usual. And my guest, introduce yourself.
Hi, Amvukisha fans. My name is Salome Kiama. If you call me Sally, you are my friend. Yes, and I'm happy to be here.
So I can call you Sally because I'm your friend.
Yes.
Hi, Sally.
No, if those who call me Sally without me telling them, they become my friends automatically. Yes.
Wow. Okay, you've not told me to call you Sally, so I'm just going to start calling you Sally now.
If you tell yourself, we'll become friends.
Welcome to the show, Sally.
Thank you.
This is it's such an honor.
Yeah.
Where do I start? You have so many layers. I don't know where to start yet.
Mm-hmm.
Cheni karibu shoot ya Sally.
Niangalie hapa.
No. There? No, I need you looking at me for now.
So 2 2 2 1 2 3.
You can look at me or you can look at the camera.
And before Sally looks at you,
Sija relax.
weka mic nyuma yako your receiver.
Oh, isionekane kwa kamera.
Why?
And then
Ni drama ka.
you are little tense.
She's
Body language.
Breathe in.
Notice how he's facing you.
Aye, sawa.
More
Yeah.
Don't worry about
The
the
cake
rest of
roaster.
us. Don't worry about us. You just have a conversation.
Okay.
Ongeleshaneni. Si ashaanza kukuita
all these
Sally,
kids are
ushakuwa-
here to learn from you.
Oh, kids.
Yeah.
Kwani
Hi.
client wenu ni kids?
Hapana.
Sawa.
No,
Let's
na
continue.
point people wako behind the camera huko.
Let's go.
Alright, we are all set?
Yeah.
Okay. Rolling.
Sally,
Yeah.
let's start with
Okay.
what you do.
Okay.
HR professional.
Yeah.
How did you end up in HR?
Okay. So you already said I'm an HR professional.
But I have not said your title. You can start with that maybe.
No, let's stick to HR professional or practitioner. So that is what I do. But I have found often when I say I work in HR, people wonder what is that, and it is so understandable because also before I heard of it, I just knew that, or rather the first HR person I met said that I am an HR person and what I do is to hire and fire. So that is also what I knew. And HR has such a bad reputation, if I must say. People don't like, or rather, when I tell my friends I work in HR or in a new setting where I don't know anyone, they're like, oh, you're in HR? Hey, my HR is called Susan. She is a bad person. I hope that is not what you do. So I just laugh it off because that laughing is what I do best. But how I found myself in HR was, let me say, I just found myself in it. But I had that background. But in high school, I was a smart I was a smart person. but I got a B. So I did my KCSE in the year that Matiangi was the education, is it CS? That, yeah, so I don't know what he did to the test, because the 2015 candidates had some leakage, and they all did so well, and then I don't know what they did to the cluster points to join the university. So when our time came, there were only, I don't know, 151 A's, and I was hoping to have an A because I used to study a lot. But I was not among the 151. I don't remember if 151. Neither was I an A minus or a B plus. So I just found myself with a B. The day the results came, I cried so much. I cried a lot. Mostly because I think my parents also had an expectation that I should do well. So my parents are teachers. So I don't know what this thing is with teachers and reputation. For them, everything is about reputation. Your daughter was the best in their school, so that is what they want. In fact, when they are reprimanding their kids, the teachers' kids can tell us if that's true. They're usually like, what are the people going to say? That the teacher's daughter is being seen roaming around, becoming a D student and things like that. So for them, it was always about reputation. So I could tell that maybe now he didn't want people asking, my dad, like asking, what did your daughter get? So he was always telling me, you need to get an I want you to get a straight A. Those are the conversations we used to have. So my dad would always, every time there's a parents meeting, he would come visiting with a book. He would bring me a book, and immediately after I found this nice book, you should take a look. It will help you with mathematics and things like that. So that was my life. And so when I got a B, I felt like I have maybe failed them. I don't think it was even about me. I think it was about what are the people going to say. But it was actually not a bad grade. And if I got, maybe because I would have wanted to do maybe nursing, or I started with a neurosurgeon, then I became a doctor, depending on how on how the grades were going. If in Form 1 I was a neurosurgeon, in Form 2 I was a doctor, by Form 3 I was like, nursing is not too bad. By Form 3 nursing was not too bad, and by Form 4 I didn't even know what I wanted to be, because chemistry I was not doing well, good. It was so bad, and I think I even lost interest. Like for me, if I'm enjoying something, and it has also trickled down even to me working right now. If I'm given a task that I don't enjoy, I do this thing that is procrastinating, because I feel like I'm not going to do it well. So I'd study so well in English and I was top in the class in theory. I would number 1 English, the first one Swahili. I will maybe not the first, but top 10 also. So all I was good except mathematics and chemistry. So even if I would have wanted to do nursing, my grade could not allow. So that's how when my cluster points came. Okay, so when it was time to pick the course I want to do, I wasn't fitting in any. First chemistry I had done so bad, I can't even say what grade I got. So I was disqualified from all the ones that I would have wanted to do. So now I was left with kina supply chain, procurement. Now HR came up, and then I didn't even know others. We didn't have enough knowledge, by the way. If I would maybe have a conversation with people who are picking, maybe I feel like the teachers or somebody should just talk to them and take them in detail what these courses are and what they entail. So at that point, I don't think even my teacher parents would help me in any way. So I just sat down. It was a bad maybe 3 or 4 months of choosing. But so to take us back, in Form 4 we used to have like 5 schools around our county where we would compete the mocks and everything. So one time we beat them, and they were boys schools, like Akina, what was the name, Utumishi boys, Kabarak High. So we beat them. I think we became number 2, as now our school let me not say the school at the school. So our principal was like, I'm going to treat you all Form 4s. So she took us to a resort, Panari Resort in Nyahururu. So the HR manager came to speak to us. She told us, my name is so and so, and I am the HR manager here, and my salary is 800,000 Kenya shillings. I was like, oh wow. So everybody gasped, like, wow, so you make 800,000 Kenya shillings? Of course, I was not those students who like, I have a question, no, but those who asked questions asked that question of money. And so when now we were picking the courses, I remembered, there was this HR manager. So because my clusters fit right there, just on the line of HR, and I wanted to go to Nairobi. Oh, there was this other thing where we want you to go to a school in Nairobi so that when you finish, you can find footings there in the city. You don't want to be in the village. Honestly, it's true. Like those graduates who went to university and came back to the village, life was not so kind to them. There's something the village just does to you. So my parents were like, I hope you find a school in Nairobi. In fact, they didn't tell me. I would hear them in the conversations. I don't know what's this thing with our parents and calling everybody and telling them your business. Like, my daughter got this, so we just want her to go and do the in Nairobi so that she can, I don't know, do this. So, not that they told me, I could hear and they talk so loudly. So that is how I was picked. I think God did his thing, because now I told you the previous year they had leakage for case, so they had all passed. So what happened is the clusters shot up. So I had a 35, and the clusters for HR that year was 39, at least for JKUAT. For KU it was 40, for University of Nairobi it was 41. But I picked them anyway, hoping, it was just a story of hope that I'm going to get picked. So that's how I joined JKUAT class. We used to call it BHRM, Bachelors of Human Resource Management. So in 2017, September 4th, I think it was 4th or something. Yes, so that's how I did HR. And it turned out to be a ride for me. I did so well. I didn't even struggle. So when everybody was dropping out, taking weed because life is so hard, for me it was a smooth sail. Probably the best decision I ever made. Helped by God, of course, because I wouldn't, even though I would take time learning, I would learn things that I am actually understanding. So my understanding, I used to do well in the theory, humanities and everything. So even this was theory. Mathematics was little. And funny enough, my brain that could not understand AP, was it called APGP or what was it, in high school, now was grasping that and even teaching the others. So I did not steal for exams. My grade was like mine. Even if I tried to steal, I'm the one who was giving people the answers. So I would just sit at the front and I did so. So I was top of my class when I graduated. And I think it aligned, honestly. I just said it aligned because it was a course I did out of maybe no other options. It took me to Nairobi as my parents wanted. And that's how I ended up in HR. So again, the thing was, doing HR in Kenya, or rather finding a job in Kenya, is hard. It's so hard. It's so hard. So I'm here, like the first lecture, our doctor, the first doctor who was teaching us principles of marketing, we were a class of like 105 sometimes. There was a class that was joining us this semester and then joining. I don't know why they were doing that. But she told us, so there were 107 of you. Do you think you're going to find jobs in Kenya, in HR especially? So yeah, I had that at the back of my mind, that I might never find a job maybe in this country because of that is what is happening. But I did it anyway, because again, what was I supposed to do? Okay, we are not going to find jobs, but can we at least study and have the degree? So that's how I did 4 years and then finished. I also, for some reason, my dad paid for an extra course. So the CPA of HR is called CHRP. So he paid for a course. Sometimes it was so bad because I had both exams from JKUAT and from that college at the same time. So, but the thing with me is that if I have something to do, I have to do and finish it. And I didn't want to fail, and I didn't fail actually. Okay, I did that particular course. There was some courses that were a bit difficult. I did a retake, which I should not have taken, but the systems and everything, but I finished. So that is one good thing that my father, But the reason why he was also paying for it is because he was like, what do you do in your free time? Instead of being idle, I hear people do some extra things. So you need to go and find something extra you can do, and you tell me. So me being the very, obedient girl, I went, looked for a course with 2 girls in my class who are also in the same path, and we used to take those classes at the same time. And it did me well, because when I finished school, it gave me sort of some edge. So I finished my exams in around June 2021, and I stayed home for 2 months, and then I got called for this internship in a company that's in Athi River, Kitengela, somewhere there in between. And that was now the beginning of my journey. I had not even graduated, so the whole narrative of there are no jobs did not apply to me. I just jumped right into the job market immediately without even a degree. So I graduated when I was on internship, and I was doing well. So I was guaranteed an assistant role after 6 months of internship. So that's how I found myself now, from school right into the job market. Yes, in HR. Yeah.
Okay, we are back with Sally Wairemo. Tumesikia HR professionals wanalipangwa 800,000. So if you're out there struggling to find a course, please, achana na hizi ma IT, achana na podcasting. Sally, HR. Ambia watu wafanye HR, 800,000 on the table, pap.
So I don't know if our good lady, if she told us that, if she was lying, but I don't think she was lying. It could be true. So later on, maybe 3 years after I started my career, I have met people who are making that kind of money in HR. So it is true, but it takes a lot. So am I being paid 800,000? No. No. Actually, when I started, I was being paid on internship. I was not being paid. I was being paid. Maybe it was just a stipend, nothing much. And even when I got the assistant role and a promotion, it still wasn't much. So and even now, I have been through so many job applications, and you could see a job in HR that they are asking for 10 years of experience, and they are saying the money is 60,000. So, and I'm seeing, it's a HR professionals group, so people are asking, you mean you're asking for 10 years of experience and 60,000 shillings? That is not realistic. But all I can say is, you can maybe find your passion. I don't know, for me it was not passion, it was the need at that time. But if it is something you want to pursue, you can pursue. There is good money in the job market for that particular role, but it takes time. And if you find a good employer, as well, it is an interesting field to be in. But yeah, you can pursue it if maybe your passion aligns. I think nowadays the young people of today are, let's say, woke. They know what they want to do. Now it's different from during our time. I'm not too old, but at that time there was a need to do a course that is marketable, that is known by your parents. Being a DJ was not popular at that time, or being a singer even. And even now, if somebody comes to you, let me jump into even relationship wise or something like that, and they tell you they are those live singers who sing in clubs, maybe in Kenya, the first question is, what are we going to be eating? Because I can see that sometimes art is still not very accepted even today. So but the generation of today, or rather the young people of today, they know how to monetize their skills, their passions. And I think there's nothing better than waking up to do something that you love, because I also know how bad it can be when you're waking up because you just need the salary. but there is nothing else you like about job. I have also seen that, heard that from people, because in my space I get to talk to people who do very different things, because I talk to them. It's my job to talk to as many people as possible. So if that's the line you want to do, the HR, it's good. You can do it. You just need to find maybe a mentor. The one thing that I always prayed to God to have is like a mentor, a woman who maybe has gone ahead. No shade to the men, but I prefer to hear from a woman, even though HR is known to be a female dominated sort of field, but I just wanted to learn from that. So anybody who would be willing to, who wants to pursue that, or any other course, finding a mentor is something that I would advocate for, because you get to hear from them. They get to tell you the loopholes, what you can leverage on, the skills you can add, and basically tips to like survive in the job market, in the corporate world, because that is also not emphasized enough. There's so many things that happen, and it cuts across all generations, especially if you're working in a space where there's representation from Gen Zs to millennials to I don't know if it's X or baby boomers. So there's so many things that happen. So if you find a mentor, that would be a really good thing for anyone. The money part, sometimes you need to put it aside and just working on yourself, making yourself needed. I don't know how I can put it. Like, you have to work on yourself so that you are somebody who is important. So that when they want to maybe cut the team from 10 to 4, you are among the 4 that whoever is making the decision wants to keep. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. 10 years experience, 60,000. You're making me reconsider HR. But you're saying it's something you love.
Yes.
That you're passionate about, and you enjoy doing it, and you wake up every day and it's something you want to do.
Yes.
What do you love about HR so much?
Okay, there's the bias in that I have never done anything else.
Yeah.
But I am also the kind of person who, when something comes up in my life, I try to see the good in it. I also try to look at why it is me who is in that space and not somebody else. So I take it, and I like affirming myself that this is where God wants me to be at that particular time. So there's that part. But also because I love connection with people. But if anybody in HR, if you talk to anybody in HR, they will tell you that the whole thing of I am passionate about people is a lie. Because while connecting with people is something that I feel it's good. I like listening to people, understanding why they do what they do. But at the same time, people are also the most difficult beings to deal with. There is factoring also the fact that you are also people, like you're also a person. So if the things that trigger you about people, there are also things that you do that trigger people. But okay, the reason why I love it is because I am I'm a person who does not like conflict. So I think working with people is easy for me. I have some few shortfalls that I have been working on, but just talking to people, like telling them, sorting issues, being the first point of contact when people are joining the organization, experiencing the emotions of, oh, congratulations, you have gotten this offer, this is the salary we are offering.
HR, what you love about it.
Yeah.
And you're telling us you're a person who naturally doesn't like conflict. And I find in my experience that people who don't like conflict work very, very hard to resolve conflict. what has that aspect of your personality helped you, and what other strengths or personality traits help you to actually thrive as an as a HR practitioner?
Okay. I'd like to start by saying, okay, let me say I am thriving. I am thriving in the role. I am not where I would like to be, and I'm also still figuring out what particular part of HR I could thrive in. Part of me wants to be a generalist, because there are so many aspects in HR. There is the part that does recruitment. There is the part that deals with payroll. So I have done so many, but I have never done payroll directly. Okay, future employer, I might tell you that I have done payroll, but I have not done payroll yet. But I would like to understand it all. But also I am drawn to the side of coaching and maybe mentorship in future, when I have maybe enough years of experience to pass on knowledge. I have this sort of patience of a teacher. I like helping people. I think I would really thrive in a coaching sort of environment. And so I'll give you an example. There is a place I used to work where there were so many employees, and that environment was full of conflict. And I remember it got somewhere, because it was also not healthy for me. Even my health, like physical health, was a bit affected in that work. I would put in a lot of work, a lot of hours at work, and majority or majorly that role in HR was the one that dealt with people. So there was the littlest like conflict you could ever think of was present, including fist fights. So you would just be sitting in the office at night, because it was an all-nighter sort of environment, and you'd hear people cheering on the other side. So there are two people with whatever clothes on each other's necks, and you are girls and maybe just one guy who does the admin part of the role, and you have to run to the scene. It was so crazy. And then so you bring them, so you don't even know where to start. But for some reason I just listened to them, and I was so young in the career. Sometimes you just look or listen to what people are fighting about, including husbands at some point, and you don't even know what to say. Like, you don't even know the solution. Like, how do you solve a case? Like, there was one time, two girls came. They were wearing the same t-shirt. You see the yellow t-shirt that has the map of Africa with the big 5 animals. And they are fighting there. Emotions are high there. They are almost like holding each other's shirts. Probably people have brought them because they were starting a fight. And you're just wondering, why are we here? What has happened? And they're like, no, she stole my husband. No, he was mine first. And then so and why are you wearing matching t-shirt? It was like, no, I bought this t-shirt for my guy, but she went and slept there, and she took the other, it was his and hers. So she took the hers t-shirt, and now that's why she came wearing it today, so that she can spite me. Can you imagine? So how are you supposed to solve that issue? That time I was like around 21. So I wasn't even in any relationship. I don't even know how the whole marriage thing. So I just sat there and asked them, so what do you want? What do you want us to do now? Because what do you want us to do? Because the husband, what does the husband do? What does the husband do? The husband is in the transport industry. He carries people on Anduthi. So they're like, okay, and what happened? Why are we here? It's because she took my husband and went to celebrate her. So the husband had a sister who was graduating, so he carried this other girl to the graduation. But the girl who what surprised us was that this girl is the one who had woken up. She told us, I woke up and prepared him. Well, like, so people wake up to prepare, their husband. Yes, and he went ahead with this other girl to that family function instead of carrying me there. So we're just like, okay, and then what are we supposed to do? They also were like, but they were fighting outside the company. So our manager was there. He was a rough man. He just came and told them, you know what, make space here, fight, just fight, you two, and then whoever wins can take the guy. Of course they did not fight because he was our manager at that time was very like whatever, but of course we did not solve the case. But we had also some girl who was a bit older, so she just gave them that pep talk of, you know, if the guy respects you and whatever, he should be able to pick one. And also with whatever he's doing, the job that he's doing, maybe it's giving him money, but I don't think he can sustain, you know, the two of you. So I don't know who is supposed to lead. All I'm saying in summary is, some of these cases you would know how to solve them. They don't even have a clear answer. But the goal was to create a healthy environment. Sometimes it's so you cannot avoid, you know, conflict at any time. So that kind of environment, what it did to me is that even though I thought I had a lot of accommodation, a lot of grace for people, it got to a point where I could not stand. Like, I would hear footsteps of somebody coming, to stand behind me, to even say hi. I would go, what do you want? What do you want? You know. But so there used to be also a reporting mechanism where they would report the HR people who are mistreating them. For some reason they thought they had that right. But to be, I don't know if I'm going to be defending the HR, but sometimes you couldn't just handle them. It was so bad that you needed sometimes to make some tough decisions or rather. But I had never been reported on that, like whatever mechanism. I knew how to deliver, like whatever. If you've been caught in a mistake, I knew how to talk, to address it and solve the stuff. For some reason, I always found a solution to whatever. If I didn't, I would escalate it. So I for that reason, I thought that maybe this is something I could do. I wouldn't lead with emotions, even though I consider myself to be, I don't hide my emotions. I allow myself to experience. If it's anger, if somebody has made me angry, I allow myself to go through those emotions and then work on it later. And I think it's healthy, but I'm seeking maybe professional help to know, just to go on a journey of self-awareness. But I didn't come out as, I had never been reported on that whatever mechanism. If there were a few cases, they were necessary. Sometimes what I learned is also, you cannot please everybody. And I was always the person who, I don't want somebody angry. And maybe part of the reason why I was also never reported there is because I always aimed to have diplomacy, like everybody is happy, win-win. But it is always not like that. So I know there are people who would say, no, she was a bad person. But at that particular time, that decision needed to be made. So back to my personality, we recently did some sort of personality test. It's called let me not say, but I don't know if I can say, but I lead with my strengths. My strengths are all on relationship building. So I think, again, as I said, things just played out. I have a strength. My top strength is called developer. So developer is a teacher, and some of the words that I used to describe it are, has the patience of a child, like somebody teaching a child how to walk. And that is how I can describe I am. When I see somebody teaching people and you're telling them, so you go from here to here, walk, do this I feel so bad. I'm like, can you teach me so that I can teach the people on your behalf? Because how you are teaching is not right. I need to explain even the very tiny details so that somebody can explain. Like, I have that kind of patience. So that is my top, like I lead with that one. And I have nobody in our team of like 15 leads with that kind of, that strength. And then I have another one that's called empathy. I have one that's called relator. So the relator one is I thrive also in one-on-one rather than, so I also have this bit of introversion. So I also did not understand how I'm going to thrive in HR.
The developer, empathy, relator,
Yeah.
and how you have some level of introversion.
Yes.
But still, you still thrive as a HR practitioner.
Yeah. So in summary, like I lead with the relationship building strengths. So the first time we also did that test, I was feeling some type of way because the other strengths, let me just mention them, they are themed. So the relationship building are like maybe 12. There are other 10. 10 are in the strategic thinking part, and the others are in executing, and the last one is in influencing. So in influencing, these are the people who love the stage, and I think most sanguines might be in that sector. So I didn't have a problem with having those. I have some executing themes, which are responsibility. Like if I said to do something, I take full ownership and I will finish it. But so it was a whole like coaching process, and I thought, oh, so this is where I don't know what to do, because I need to be somebody who is leading, especially in the strategic strength, so that I can become, I don't even know what I wanted to become. But so I have also learned to understand that these skills are very important, especially in the HR sector or something, in the HR sector. And while I can also thrive in these others and maybe work on building on them, these are important, and maybe that is why I have done well. I have done well with myself. There is a lot of room for improvement, but yes, so me finding myself in HR, I think gelled well with also my personality and those kinds of strengths I have, and it is a journey for me, and it's a journey for me, and maybe in future I could go into coaching things. So I just need to figure out what organizations, or even go into my own practice and just figure out how I can monetize that, because I mean we are doing it sometimes for the money, but again, when it's something that you wake up and you love doing, and you have the platform, you have gotten the right opportunities for it, then it is something that I would do.
I've had some coaching, an ICF certified coach. There's some certification for coaches. And earlier this year, actually, because I was struggling with how to balance work and this podcast and family and all the other responsibilities that come with adulting, I needed to talk to a coach. And those are really helpful.
Yes.
And I guess when you have the personality you're saying of being able to break down things down and just explain them to the minutest step, so that any dummy, even myself, can understand. It's a valuable skill. What I'm picking from you is, I guess, a higher level of self-awareness, because you know your strengths, you know the weaknesses you're working on, and you speak about knowing where you want to go. Where does that come from for you? The self-awareness.
Yes. So it comes from the fact that there was a time I was not self-aware. So what I didn't say is that I have struggled with the imposter syndrome for so long, but I also didn't know it was the imposter syndrome. This, in the case that even when I was the top person in my class, I still didn't think that I am, for some reason. And it is so crazy how sometimes you listen to the people around you. Okay, that time I would give audience, and somebody was there. I remember there was one person who was, Yani, you are going to be the person who will lead the class, and we were just laughing with you and things like that. So, oh, maybe they are right. Maybe I should not have led the class. Given that there was this one person who we were in the same class. Oh, she was so smart, and she was also so expressive, and she didn't care what people are saying. So I think that person looked at me and her and our personalities and how they're different, and maybe they thought in their head that that is the person who deserves maybe to lead the class, and I maybe was not supposed to lead the class, but I was supposed to maybe, I don't know where they expected me to be, and I don't know why they were even saying that. But most importantly, I should not have listened to what they were saying. So in the workplace, what I'd do, this is the kind of person I'd be. I'd work on something with someone, and then when it's time to present it, I'll take a step back and let them present what we have done and let them take all the credit, because I thought, even the manager is not going to think that I am the one who did this, because I thought everybody thought that I am not the one who could do this, which now I can't tell where that came from. I am also on a journey to just discover where did this kind of self-doubt come from. And then so I have had those instances where I do something really well, but when it's time, like very recently I'm tasked with organizing like sort of farewells for people, if something, and I do those so well, like I know I get thoughtful gifts and everything, but when it's time to present, I just call somebody, come, you're the one who will be presenting the gift, because I also don't like the stage and the spotlight, which also is some sort of poison that eats you so much, because you do so well, you put in the work, extra hours, but when it's time to, and there are people, funny enough, or what happens in the world of work, there are different personalities. There is a me who is like that, and then there is a person who does nothing and is very quick to take the credit, and they keep growing, you see. So when you're struggling with imposter syndrome, if you don't work on it on your own, you're going to always be stagnant at the bottom. And so somebody picked it from, I transitioned into another job last year, and somebody picked it, but they I can tell that they don't know where that the problem is, and I'm glad they didn't know. So they thought it's something else, but it's okay, because we used the whatever they did to they sort of became my mentor, and whatever they did has sort of like opened my eyes. But when it became so extreme and I realized that I'm not doing better, so that's why I started working on it with somebody else.
We are back after a short break. You're telling me about self-awareness and how some of it you've had to work on by yourself, but how sometimes you've had people have extended you the grace to point stuff out to you.
Yeah.
And how when then you are aware, you have to start to work on it on yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
I want to hear more still about that aspect of self-awareness, knowing our strengths, our weaknesses, where we are trying to go, and especially because when I did the VIA character test, character strength test, and I saw these are my top strengths, and then it's ordered all the way to number 24.
Okay.
And then I realized, even if I start working on my weakness and I work it all the way to the top, something else is going to be number 24. And if I work on it and take it all the way, something else is going to, so I will always have things I'm very good at and things that I'm not the best in the world at.
Yeah. Strengths. Okay. There's something you said that there are 24 for you. So the one I did is for 34. And I like the narrative they use. I don't know if it's similar. Maybe you can show me and I'll take a look. I'm also really interested about understanding people. And so psychology, human psychology, maybe I might go into organizational psychology in a few years. But what I was saying is, how we look at it is there are 34. It's not that the number 34 or number 24 is you're bad at it. It's just that it's not your top strength. You have all of them in you, but what you need to do is to leverage on the ones that you are good at and use those ones to thrive. So if these top 5 are not your thing, just leave them. Don't focus unless they are impacting maybe how you relate with people and everything. That's when you would work on them. But if we are looking at you thriving in the workplace, what my coach says is you just try to do what you are good in. Leverage on those strengths, and what you cannot do, you just let that go. Become very good at what is your top strength. Yeah, that's what I would say. So back to you. So you can imagine when he said that I had not been doing what I'm supposed to do, it broke me so much, because I was doing like 14 hours in a day trying to just dealing with people in that sector. This is what I used to do. I used to follow people to do trainings, and it was a busy environment. People are busy getting output. They don't have time for training. I have actually been insulted like 3 times somebody telling me to F off a whole manager. Okay, I can't say that because that is the truth. So those were the challenges I had. So when somebody tells you you're not doing and you're dealing with those difficult people, and that was an out of character thing for me, because I don't thrive in confrontation. I told you I don't like conflict. So what I do, sometimes I avoid it. So when he gave me that feedback, then he told the other one who was junior to him. So the one that was junior was kind enough to call me and give me the feedback and unpack, but he didn't know how to say it. So this is what he said. You know, sometimes you don't do anything, as in you might not have done something, but you need to market yourself like so and so and so. You need to market yourself. If you don't market yourself, you will always be below, even though you are putting in the work. So first of all, it hit me so bad because this is somebody they know, and they're the ones who recommended you for this particular, to do this role, and then they're telling you need to again market, and they know you're doing the work. But I have come to learn that marketing yourself is so important. I know people who didn't used to do much. Maybe let me not say nothing. Let me say much, but they would do something small, like I went and opened the gate for 2 people. They came in and they have been whatever, and then this person was sick. I have rushed them to the hospital and they are back here. They didn't have shopping. I got shopping for them. They're telling the very small details. And for me, I'd be like, isn't that the right thing to do? Why do you feel the need to report it? So if that is the person you're being compared to, like in the workplace, and you're sitting there aloof, doing your thing, ticking the to-do list and everything, but because they have a presence, you're always there. So that happens a lot. Then I have a friend that I have, let me just say a friend. So we share some of these office memes on Instagram or from TikTok. And now I have also, when it comes to politics, there's that bit for marketing yourself and showing that you're working. That involves, I'll come back to that friend, but that involves small talk. I didn't know that small talk is so important. I would be like, come to the office, good morning, open your laptop and start doing the thing.
Any extra tips for people who are navigating?
Yes, politics
corporate,
and everything. So the thing I learned from even that feedback of marketing yourself, it doesn't have to be in lying. You can genuinely market what you're doing, but okay, calling it marketing is maybe might sound off, but it also comes up in many conversations that I attend. I also follow many people who are in coaching, leaders and people in HR, and they call it visibility. And I've had it even in organizations where I have friends who work in the audit firms, the big four. So they say that a panel sits down, a panel of the leaders, they sit down and ask, so should we promote Daisy? Should we move Daisy to the next level? And they'll go around and take, I don't know how true it is. It's just I have somebody who told me that. So they sit and say, no, Daisy, we don't hear much about her. We don't know her. So no, let's move to the next person. So when you try to unpack that visibility, so sometimes it looks like, good morning, did you have your cup of coffee this morning? Oh, you look lovely today. Did you get a new haircut? Such small conversations, small talk, which can sometimes be very uncomfortable, but I think baby steps. You learn today, you go say hi. If somebody had mentioned they had a flu the other night, just ask them, so how are you feeling better today? That is how I have learned. I have learned that it is done from the content I have had, by observing with my own eyes. Sometimes it's just like that, so that you have maybe a presence. I also think I heard that it's mentioned in a book that we are reading the other day, the one that the nice girls don't get the corner office. There's a bit that touches on being invisible. So it's just about, I think, visibility. Sometimes visibility doesn't mean you being very busy with your work or anything. It means just creating a relationship. And it's also very important, I think, especially for introverts, maybe you might think that, no, this is who I am. Sometimes that statement of this is who I am is not good for you in the workplace. Sometimes just try to, you know, walk to people, say hi to people, good morning. If maybe in your workplace people go for coffee, if somebody invites you for coffee, just go have a conversation with them. It might be uncomfortable, but just hear. That is also how you build networks. So that is something that I have learned in now that I didn't know in my 1 year, maybe 9 months ago. I didn't know that, but it's important. That's how you build networks. As for politics, know people. I have mastered the art of reading the room, reading expressions. I hear everything. I hear everything in meetings. You can tell who is triggered by what. You know who to avoid. Avoid personal conversations like telling people about your family. So creating those boundaries is very important. It's when you say maybe it's being colleagues, just be colleagues, and then leave the other bits out. Although sometimes it's not easy because you spend a lot of time in the year with these people. So like I have friends, some of my close friends right now are people that I used to work with, because sometimes you can't avoid. But just know people, especially if you see people who are very passionate. There are people who love power so much, they will do anything, including, you know, throwing people under the bus to get it. Understand them, let them be. Maybe they're also dealing with their own issue, but when they step, also you need to know how to talk for yourself. I know somebody who I have learned this from her. She does not take anything. She will call you out. Even if that man is a 40-year-old man and she's only 24, she will tell them, no, excuse me, you should not tell me that way. If you're giving me feedback, give me feedback. Stop telling me that like that. So which is also for the young people who are just joining the workplace, it might be hard. It might be hard to do that, but you know, just challenge yourself. Do one thing at a time. If you couldn't speak up for yourself in a meeting, introduce yourself properly, practice on YouTube in front of the mirror. Learn how to do that. If you are afraid of saying good morning today, say good morning to this one person. If you leave the other one, also it's also not good to say good morning to this person and leave the other one there. Say good morning to everyone. If you today you say to 4 people, tomorrow say. It is time consuming, but again, if it's something that people value and like that, you just do as it is. So the thing that comes up is, why are you doing things to please people? We also don't know, but if that's the culture, if that's what they do in Rome, the Romans do, you just go and do what they do. But find yourself, know why you are there. Maybe while at it, find your purpose. Make sure you gather as many skills as possible from that particular area that you are at that moment. And then you never know, but those things, now you start seeing the impact of them way later. Yeah, so you get as much as you can from that particular place and go. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's really good advice. Thanks. You said earlier that you love connecting, and that's something I also highly value, I guess.
Yeah.
And when you say as a practitioner, and people are always coming to you with problems, with needs, to be able to really listen to them and hear them, you have to allow yourself to be open to them. And that is connection. And you're connecting, as you've said, in an environment where the problems are very messy with no neat solution. I guess that takes something deeply human to be able to open oneself to people when I know that I may not have a solution for them.
Yeah.
And so I find most times I myself am tempted to shut down sometimes, and I don't think I'm going to be able to handle this coming from this person right now. Sometimes I want to shut down, but your job entails you staying open and really listening to sometimes a messy problem that you might have no problem, no solution for, and still be empathetic.
Yeah.
That sounds like a unique strength of yours. Is there any way for one to develop that, or where do you get it from? How does someone develop it if they don't have it naturally?
Oh yeah. Well, that's right. I don't know if there's a way to maybe develop it, but what I can say is, I think most times, if not all the times, I also don't have a solution. Sometimes I listen to somebody and then it also suddenly hits me that I also have my own problems that I have not told anyone that I need to deal with. But I just, sometimes people, what they need is a sounding board. So you can decide to listen while creating a barrier. Like you're there, you're listening, and what you do is, there's a time we had a unit in psychology. Sometimes listening means, so Kariuki, you said that when they tell you something, like maybe they had this abusive, what do I say, maybe spouse or something like that, you just repeat the same question, and so you said that your spouse was beating you up, like that. So it just gives them room to keep talking and talking and talking, and there is no solution you're offering, but you are like probing them to keep communicating. Then also part of that role is like people telling you their problems, is like they're expecting you to be the counselor role, but you don't have to have the solution to them. Sometimes just listen and then tell them it's going to be okay. You can tell them it's going to be okay. Or when you finish talking and you say, oh, okay, so how do you think I can help you? You can also ask them that. And most times people usually have the solution on their own, but this definition I'm giving you is a coach. So what a coach does is they listen to you and then they ask you to give the solution. Well, in counseling, sometimes it's also good to listen and then refer them to the relevant people to help them, because me, in my capacity, I do not have the wellness or the whatever, so the counseling skills that are required, but listening is also something you can do. Yes.
So just listen.
Listen, be there, be present, ask questions, give them also time to express themselves, and then you can ask them, so how can we help? And then once you're done with that conversation, you can do a follow-up the next day, sometimes dropping a message on Teams, so that they can remember you asked them. Sometimes you don't even care. Okay, care is bad, but you're just like, hi, how are you feeling today? That message, they will see you care. Okay, you're asking because you want to know honestly, but sometimes you have so many people, you just ask them, so how are you feeling today? Is it better? Like that. And then they can say something, and then they'll say, thank you for helping. They will remember to tell you when they have a solution. Yeah.
So it's basically to care and be concerned without carrying the baggage, the emotional baggage of all the things you've had.
Yes, you can't carry everybody's burden. Yeah. And finally, to the Amvukisha subscribers, and to the young girls and boys who are new navigating the corporate world or joining, hope to be employed, and hopefully you will be employers one day or self-employed. Take your time. You belong there. And if they picked you, it's because you are the best person for that particular job role. So find your flaws, if there are any, and work on them. And you got this. Find a mentor, somebody who can work with you. There are so many people who are willing to share their skills. And if you find one, work with them. And finally, because you will make it, remember to also pass it on. Here the tagline is own your story. So I hope you own your stories and subscribe to this channel. There are so many nuggets to pick from, and tell a friend to tell a friend. Also leave a like while at it. Bye.
Yay!